Hi, my friend. We are reaching the last part of our Scotch Gambit series, Queen H5 line, and Black responds with Queen F6 version. And you may say that why Black should respond with Queen F6. Black plays Queen E7. Of course, Black can play that. And this is not exactly the main line of a Scotch. The line that I call it a Scotch is similar to a Scotch, but I don't know what is a good name for it. Yeah, Black could play anything but Queen F6, but could play only other moves Queen E7 actually. But and we will go there. We are talking about this position. At this position, bishop takes, and we take with the knight, takes back with the knight. If initially Black takes with the knight, is a different story, and we will cover that later. But at this position, after Queen H5, Black has only one or two options: Queen F6 or Queen E7. And we consider Queen F6, and you may say that why we consider the worst move for Black. It's not really worst move, but it's not a best move at least, but it's not that bad. First, second, it's an easier line to understand. Queen E7 is more sophisticated, but nevertheless, in all lines we use this idea of Queen H5. Maybe we delay Queen H5, maybe we just threaten to play Queen H5, but knowing Queen H5 is very important. You have some basic ideas. Queen goes there, attacks this weak F2 spot. Later you make castle and then open this line, F line. This is the idea. Another idea is that you don't care if the Black knight goes forward and grabs your pawn. Instead, you go forward with your knight to b5 or d5 to attack the c7 spot, and in some cases the queen. So these are the ideas that you have seen so far, and these are the most useful ideas in this line. So let's go forward. We castle. This time we want to consider knight e7. You may say that Black first grabs the pawn and then plays knight e7. Yeah, we will get to the similar line as the main line that I want to discuss. Finally, Black plays knight e7. Last time we have seen that pushing g6 doesn't help, kicking the queen doesn't help. Also, don't kid taking the rook is a catastrophe. In the first video, the easiest one was that. So plays knight e7. We go in with the knight. The idea is similar as before so far. And at this point, Black should castle. Otherwise, if Black, for example, grab this rook, we get a worse situation of the same line. So after this, Black castles. This is a memory line, the memory item that you should memorize. Here, don't hurry to grab the c7 pawn, because if you grab the c7 pawn and if you allow the queen to have a freedom of movement, okay, then Black consolidates and even wins. This is very important move to force the queen to actually exchange, we exchange the queen. And don't worry, yeah, here we mostly go after positional advantage in this line. It's not super tactical like previous lines. Here we are talking about positional advantage. It's a more major game. So don't worry about exchange. Actually, Black didn't have any other good move. I mean, once you move the queen away, White grabs the knight and attacks the rook. So Black cannot do wait and watch. Should exchange the queens. This is a forced queen exchange, basically. So after queen exchange, we get to the line that I want to go to the main line. We attack the knight, goes back, we grab the pawn, and this is very similar to the main line that I want to discuss. So let's go back to this situation. Oh, not this one. To this situation that we develop the knight, and Black also developed the e7 knight, and only then Black captures the c2 pawn. Actually, capturing c2 pawn is the best move. Otherwise, what do you want to do? You want to castle, and then we arrive to a similar position, except that except that you don't black didn't win the c2 pawn. So grabs the c2 pawn and we go forward with the knight. Similar ideas as before. Castles, we remember bring the bishop out, exchange the queens and attack the knight, and then grab the c7 pawn. So far so good. I wanted to show you something else. After here maybe you say that why knight c2, why not directly offering queen exchange, for example. This is horrible actually. This is horrible because we simply exchange. This is a better version that we were looking for. Takes, if you take with the pawn, it's very slow. You know, it's they're not just damaging your opponent's structure. You don't develop pieces. Your knight is in the back rank yet. So then we attack the knight of black. Yeah, attacks our rook and knight. Wow, bishop. Wow, what a bad position, right? We will have a double e pawn. Yo, it doesn't matter. You know, we continue the main idea that we have, attacking the c7 spot. Don't care if we have a double e pawn. It doesn't matter because now we have a huge positional advantage. I mean, in the long run, this is a completely winning position for white. White is having double pawn, yes, but this double pawn is actually good, limits the knights of black from moving. And for example, let me show you some line. If move the rook to save it, we just retreat the knight, attacking the a pawn. And here, for example, black cannot defend the a pawn. For example, if pushes forward, we attack the f pawn, and f pawn is cannot be defended. If you try to push to, for example, kick the bishop, we simply grab the pawn, grab the piece, and this is a completely winning position for white. So if black voluntarily tries to exchange the queens, we are happy, okay? Otherwise, we force black to exchange the queens. Because if black voluntarily do that, we are just up a tempo. So we arrive to this position. Sorry. Here is the next memory item. It's not a memory item, it's the idea of the game actually, but for you is new. You didn't see it in previous videos. Rook d1. Rook d1 sounds a little bit unnatural, right? Attacking the knight with the rook. Do you want to give up a exchange? No, we don't want. We want to bring the bishop back. This is why I said that if black voluntarily exchange the queen is better, because we want to put the bishop on e3 actually, and attack the knight with the bishop and kick the knight away. If we kick the knight away, the weakness is the d7 pawn. This is the weakness of the black in this line. If, for example, black tries to develop bishop with pushing d6, then it's an easy job for us attacking the knight. If retreat the knight, we just grab the pawn and enjoy. But for example, black can play different moves. Black can develop bishop, for example. Developing bishop in some lines, bring in the, at this point, for example, we can bring the bishop out and try to put the bishop on c6. We simply continue grabbing the knight and then possibly on next pawns. Here is the only place that black has opportunity to somehow equalize the game. So at this position we should save the knight. We have no choice but to retreat, and if black tries to activate the king or something else, but I don't know, the idea is to take the d pawn, right, for white, and black should defend that d pawn by some means, and d pawn will be attacked by rook and the other rook and our knight as well. So should bring all the pieces. Black, if wants to defend the d pawn, should bring all the pieces, but then we just simply, if brings the king, we just simply give a check and win it. If, for example, tries to bring the rook, it doesn't help. We bring the other rook to attack it. So this d pawn is gonna best move for black here at this position is just simply to grab the knight, and after some exchange, we have a equal material, but white is doing really better. It's the end game. It needs your end game skills, and white is doing really better at this position because has a bishop and doesn't have a weakness like d7 pawn, as well as black has a not just a weakness of d7 pawn, but also black has a back rank issues. Should should take care of it, and we have a very good majority in the king side. It's good to have majority in a side that your king is, and we can enjoy that majority. Even if, for example, we go to exchange something, if we take d7 and black takes b pawn and so on, at the end we have a majority in the king side, and it's some advantage for white. Yeah, that was the last part of queen h5 portion of this gambit series. It's not a real gambit. It's like a queen gambit. It's not a real gambit. In some lines it says real gambit, but most of the time it black gives up back the pawn, and it's not a real gambit, and it's getting to positional play at the end. It's not that romantic when black plays okay. I hope you enjoyed. Bye.